Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you are all well. Well, guys, it is actually Friday today. Now, I think in the live, I thought it was Friday, and it clearly wasn't Friday. But as I've told you before, if you're looking to me for an accurate day or date reference, then I perhaps would get a replacement, as I am faulty as fuck. Anyway, you're looking amazing, by the way. You must have had a fantastic Thanksgiving. I truly hope that you're not too stuffed with turkey and trimmings. But anyway, let's get into some meat and potatoes. Like I said, I did a live the other night, and in that live, we discussed the Idaho 4 case. We touched on the Delphi case. We touched on JFK and the 60th anniversary of his assassination. If you haven't seen that live, and you do have the time to watch it, go and check it out. But I appreciate that not everybody does. And for that reason, I just wanted to touch back on a point, because I asked a question, and that was basically asking people to give us, the people who are still on the fence with the situation, the thing that tells them that Bryan Kohberger is guilty, 100% guilty. They've got him sent down a river and feels this is a done deal, it's over, this is now just formality. And the recurring thing seemed to be the DNA. It's all about the DNA being on this sheath, the sheath being left there. So I just wanted to do a standalone video that is already longer than I wanted it to be because of my overly excessive introduction to the point. So I'll just get on with it. And that is, look, this knife sheath is problematic. It is problematic. I accept that it's problematic, and it could be what some people are saying that they feel it is, and that is that Bryan Kohberger took this knife sheath into this property alongside a knife, and he proceeded to commit this crime. But why I ask people to step back and consider this more is because you have to ask yourself if it truly makes sense. And there's two elements to this that we're going to address. That is, first of all, the knife sheath itself and how that fits into the crime and the planning and the action of the event itself. And then the DNA. So look, the knife sheath, you've got to think to yourself, this is somebody who we are told has planned this. We're supposed to believe that he came over, he ventured over to this property, no fewer than 12 times. This was the 13th time, if you believe in what they're trying to push as this kind of stalking narrative where he did reconnaissance. That's how he learned about how to get in the house, where people were inside the house, what rooms to go into, where specific people were on this specific night even. He did his homework, and this was planned meticulously by somebody who was relatively smart. I think we can all accept that the guy is not an idiot, and even though it frustrates the shit out of me that people keep saying this book smart, street stupid. People can be book smart and street stupid, but they're generally smart when it comes to their academic area of study, and they can be stupid about other things. And I put a reference to someone I know who is brilliant in their field, but yet they can't make a cup of tea or use a washing machine or a dishwasher. But the thing that they teach in, that they train in, that they study in, that is where they are smart. And I can't accept this being book smart in that topic, but street stupid in that same topic, because that doesn't make sense. Because the smartness of it goes hand in hand with the activity itself. Somebody who is book smart will know that taking their own phone or doing things with their phone is going to have an effect should they come into the spotlight. Driving their own car isn't perhaps the smartest thing to do, especially in front of cameras. And taking something into the property that could potentially be left, have your DNA on it if you've handled it previously without gloves on, for instance. And, I can't get my head really into bed with that situation. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And furthermore, on top of that, just the knife sheath is with the knife for a purpose, and that is to attach the knife to the person's body. So it would be attached to a belt and attached around the waist of a person who is carrying it. Beyond that, it serves no real purpose. And I would go as far to say if someone is going into a property with the sole intention of committing this crime, then this becomes access to requirement. And it makes absolutely no sense unless they're looking to keep their hands free, and they could just put it perhaps in a pocket maybe. And again, I'm not 100% sure how that works, and I'm sure there'll be people who have valid arguments to it. But I don't understand the sheath being there if the sheath wasn't attached to anything. And it clearly wasn't because it got left behind. So again, I can't get my head around that, how that works with someone who is intelligent. Because I am going to say Bryan Kohberger is indeed intelligent. And then it brings us to the DNA situation. And people can't seem to understand how easy it is for DNA to end up at a crime scene that belongs to someone who has never been there. It can happen. And although we have these other things in the background which are circumstantial, these are all of the things that have in the past formed the picture that has indeed got the people in the situation that they have been accused wrongfully, because there are just certain things that fall into place that place them in a position of being able to be accused. But then later on down the line, they are found not to be guilty. So again, this is just about not being supportive of Bryan Kohberger and just trying to push that he is 100% innocent. It's about, again, and I do this all the time, it's about trying to get people to step back and think to themselves, is the reason that I am vilifying Bryan Kohberger, if you are indeed doing so, is the reason behind that valid? Or are you doing it based on something that does have holes in? And then you need to ask yourself, if you are vilifying someone and the reasoning behind it has holes in it, then is that correct? Is that right? And is that proper? That's all I ask. To step back and ask yourself, are you being right and proper? And if you could put yourself in a position where someone you love is in the position that Bryan Kohberger is in, would you want them to be treated the way that you are treating that person? And then I think if everybody can do that, if everybody can have that mentality, then there's a lot of things that we wouldn't have to worry about, like fair trials, for instance, getting the right outcome, for instance. We wouldn't have to have John Judge worrying about cameras and worried about how information could potentially manipulate an outcome, because that's ultimately what he's saying. He is concerned that what is shown and how it is shown could potentially give an outcome, whether it be an innocent outcome or a guilty outcome. Has that been influenced by fact and evidence or perception of information wrongfully pushed out? Anyway, I'm going to let you get on because it's Friday and I'm sure you've got other things to do. Check out video 2 later on today where we're talking about the review of the Nicola Bulley case. I'll catch you all in the next one.